Right, here we go with question 1. Step 1, we need to make sure y is the subject. We're looking at the second equation here. Is y the subject? Yes, it already is. So what I'm actually going to be doing is picking that up and putting that in there. So your first step, x squared plus 2 minus 3x all squared is equal to 20. So that's your first step. If you want to pause it now and carry on, you can. We now know what we're doing is this, because remember that squared means times by itself, therefore that equals 20. However you decide to expand this out, you can either use the moon method or your grid method, but from there, x squared plus 4, because 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times minus 3, minus 6x, minus 3 times 2, minus 6x. Be careful here, minus 3 times minus 3 is plus 9x squared, and that equals 20. From here, collect your like terms. So I've got 10x squared minus 6x is minus 12x plus 4. So I'll put it in the correct format of a, b, and c equals 20. Now what I need to do is make it equal 0. 10x squared minus 12x plus 4 minus 20 equals 0. Another mark for making it equal 0. From there, let's just tidy that up. 10x squared minus 12x, and then 4 minus 20 is minus 16 equals 0. Now, notice that all of this can divide by 2, so I'll make my life a lot easier here. Divide that by 2, I get 5x squared minus 6x minus 8 equals 0. Go for our factorization. Again, if you want to pause it, you can here. I need two numbers that add to minus 6, but remember I've got to do 5 times minus 8, so it's multiply to minus 40. So what two numbers add to minus 6 and multiply to minus 40? Again, you can pause the video if you think you'll be able to work this out from here. But looking at that, I can go negative 10 and plus 4. Which one of those two brackets simplifies? This one divides by 5. So x minus 2. This one doesn't simplify, so 5x plus 4 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. 5x plus 4 equals 0. Take that over. X is equal to positive 2. And then here, 5x is equal to negative 4. X is equal to negative 4 over 5. Now, negative 4 over 5 could also be written as minus 0.8 if you want to write it like that. Got my two x values. Now I need to go back up. Let's use this equation here. So I'm just going to get rid of this on the right. So if I get rid of that, I'm saying y is equal to 2, then minus 3 times the value of x. I'm saying x is positive 2 there. So that's 2 minus 3 times 2 is 6. 2 minus 6 is minus 4. Y is equal to minus 4. And then if I repeat that process, but this time I'm repeating it with minus 0.8. So y is equal to 2 minus 3 times negative 0.8. So just be really careful with that step there. So you're doing 2, and then minus 3 times minus 0.8 is going to become a positive. That's basically just saying what is 80% of 3. So you could either use a calculator or you could work it out. That the answer there would be 2.4, which gives you 4.4. So y would equal 4.4. Okay, so your answers would be x equals 2 or minus 0.8, and y equals minus 4 or 4.4. They're your answers. We get another mark here, another mark for getting your y value, so 4 marks altogether. Okay, next question here. What we're looking at is the second equation. Remember, this is the one that's not the quadratic, so I need to make sure either x or y is the subject. So I'm going to make x a subject in this one. So I'm going to pick up that minus 2y, chuck it over there, and it becomes x equals minus 3 plus 2y. Now, I'm actually going to write that slightly differently. I could write it as 2y minus 3 as well. So either one of those would be your first mark. Now, what you're doing is you're picking up this, and you're putting that in here, okay? So you're saying minus 3 plus 2y, that's all squared, plus y squared equals 18. Now again, remember, this means minus 3 plus 2y, brackets minus 3 plus 2y plus y squared equals 18. Now, if I work through this again, mu method, or however you want to expand it, now that be careful here, minus 3 times minus 3 is a positive 9. Minus 3 times 2y is negative 6y. That becomes a negative 6y, and this becomes a positive 4y squared plus y squared equals 18. So I've substituted in. Now collect your like terms. So we've got all my y squareds there. 4y squared plus y squared is 5y squared. Minus 6y is minus 12y. And then that 9's there, plus 9 equals 18. Second mark, make it equal 0. 5y squared minus 12y plus 9 minus 18 equals 0. Another mark. Now, if I work that out, I end up having 5y squared minus 12y minus 9 equals 0. Now, I can't simplify any of that. I can't divide anything there, so I'm going to have to go through my process. A value times your C value. So 5 times minus 9, which is minus 45. So I need two numbers that multiply to minus 45 and add to negative 12. So if you want to pause this now and see if you can work that out for yourself, figuring out which one goes where. I'm going to do it now. So if you want to do it, pause it. The answer becomes minus 15 and plus 3. Which one of those brackets simplifies? This one divides by 5. So it becomes y minus 3. This one can't simplify, so y plus 3. Therefore, y is equal to, so if I go through the full process, so it's y minus 3 equals 0. So y is equal to positive 3. 5y plus 3 equals 0. So 5y is equal to negative 3. So y is equal to negative 3 over 5. Or you could write that as minus 0.6 as well. Okay, so they're my answers. I'm saying that y is equal to 3 or minus 0.6. Let's go back up here. I now need to find the value of x. So you can either use this one or this one, depending on how you rearranged it. So x is equal to minus 3 plus 2 times your value of y. Y is 3 to start with. So plug that in. Minus 3 plus 2 times 3 is 6. So minus 3 plus 6 is 3. So there's another solution. And again, second time round, x is equal to minus 3 plus 2 times whatever your y value is. Y here is minus 0.6 minus 0.6. So minus 3 plus, now 2 times minus 0.6 will be a negative. So it's going to end up being minus. And it's basically saying 60% of 2, which would be 1.2 as your answer. 3 minus 1.2 is minus 4.2. So your values there of x are 3 and minus 4.2, and your values of y are 3 and minus 0.6. Okay, final couple here then. Again, what we're looking at is changing this last one because I don't want to touch this top one. It's got the quadratic into it. So I'm going to make y the subject purely because if I make x a subject, then I'm going to have to divide by 2, which makes it a bit harder. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this minus 2, chuck it over there. So it becomes 2x plus 2 is equal to y. Or if you write that like this, y equals 2x plus 2. We're used to that kind of format. Picking that up and changing y for that. So again, if you want to pause the video and carry on from here, if you're a bit stuck on the first step, you can. But ultimately, this is what I'm doing. Now, this is a little bit easier than previous examples because I need to just make it equal 0. So I'm going to pick that up, chuck it over there. 0 is equal to 2x squared minus 3x minus 10. And then that's coming over to become minus 2x minus 2. There's a mark for making it equal 0. There's a mark for making y the subject. From here, 2x squared, well, let's work this out. Minus 3x minus 2x is minus 5x. Be careful there, make sure you've got that right. And then minus 10 minus 2 is minus 12. So there's a quadratic. Let's go through the process. 2 times minus 12 is minus 24. So I need two numbers that multiply to minus 24 and add to negative 5. So my numbers are going to be, in a second I'll tell you. So if you want to pause the video and have a go, you can. I'm going to do it now. So if you're not 100% sure or need a bit more time, pause it. 8 and 3, sorry. So it's going to be negative 8 and plus 3 This one divides by 2, x minus 4, and 2x plus 3, because this one doesn't simplify. Again, if you haven't made any mistakes, go back, correct it now, and see if you can finish it from here using the information I've given you. X is equal to 4, and here we've got 2x is equal to negative 3, so x is equal to minus 3 over 2, or you can write that as minus 1.5. So they're my solutions. X is equal to 4 or negative 1.5. Let's go back to here. I now need to find y. So I'm saying y is equal to 2 times 4 in the first instance there, plus 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. So y is equal to 10. And repeat it for this value. So y is equal to 2 times negative 1.5 plus 2, or 2 times negative 1.5 is minus 3. Minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1, so y is equal to minus 1. If I go through all of these again, x is equal to 4 or minus 1.5, which is what I've got there, and y is equal to 10 or negative 1. When I put all of that together, they're my solutions for question number 3. Okay, last example then, further maths one, a little bit harder. So we have to rearrange this last one. I can either make x the subject or y the subject. Either way, I'm going to create a fraction. So I'm actually going to make x the subject, okay? So the first thing to do, make it 2x. I'm going to pick up this 3y, chuck it over there. So equals 4 minus 3y. Get rid of the 2. X is equal to 4 minus 3y over 2. So that is x being the subject. From there, I'm picking that up and putting it in there. So it now becomes 4 minus 3y over 2 squared minus 3y squared equals 13. Now, what you need to be really careful of is when you expand this out. So because this is squared, it's 4 minus 3y over 2, brackets 4 minus 3y over 2 minus 3y squared equals 13. So from here, expand this out. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times minus 3y is minus 12y. Minus 12y. And then this becomes a positive 9y squared. That then is all over 4. Minus 3y squared equals 13. Okay. Now, let's just start tidying this up. So I'm going to rearrange this. This becomes 9y squared. Minus 12y minus 12y is minus 24y. Then I've got my plus 16. That's all over 4 minus 3y squared. Now, because this is a fraction, I'm subtracting a fraction. I'm going to put that over 1. And that equals 13. Okay. So I'm in a position now where I've got everything tidied up. But what you need to be careful of is this concept here. I cannot put this with this because the denominators are different. Okay, so if you started to do that now, you need to pause this, try again, and go back and correct this. So the denominators need to be the same, which means what I've got to do here is times this by 4. So when I end up multiplying that by 4, I'm timesing the top by 4 and the bottom by 4. Remember, so that actually now becomes minus 12y squared over 4. Now this is all staying the same on the left, 9y squared minus 24y plus 16, and that's all over 4. Now because both of these denominators are over 4, I can effectively put this as one fraction now. So I can rewrite this like this over 4 equals 13. So if you made that mistake and you just took away 3y squared from that and made it 6y squared, stop it now, go back, do what I've done, see if you can work out what to do. So from here, collecting my before I do that, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take this 4, take it over there and multiply it. So 9y squared minus 24y plus 16 minus 12y squared is equal to 13 times by 4. Well, 13 times 2 is 26, and then double that, which would be 52. Collect our like terms now. Right, 9y squared minus 12y squared is negative 3y squared minus 24y plus 16 equals 52. Now, we need to make this equal 0, but what I don't want to do is do this, because if I do that, I've got this negative 3y squared, which is a bit awkward. So what I'm actually going to do is pick all of this up on this side, chuck it that way, and then it's 0 equals 52. Now it becomes plus 3y squared plus 24y minus 16 And from there, I can start to collect my like terms. I'm doing 52 minus 16. So 3y squared plus 24y all stays the same. And then 52 minus 16 will be 36 plus 36. Now from here, all I now need to do is I need to factorize it and solve it however I can. If you look at these numbers, it should equal 0. If you look at these numbers, actually all of these divide by 3. So let's make my life a lot easier. Y squared plus 8y plus 12. And that's 0 is equal to that or equals 0. So what adds to 8 multiplies to 12. So I'm hoping you guys will be able to figure that out from here. So y plus 6, y plus 2 equals 0. So y plus 6 equals 0. Y plus 2 equals 0. Y is equal to negative 6. Or y is equal to negative 2. So they are my two values for y. And now I need to go back up here. And I need to find x. Remember, so I've just found y. So x is equal to 4. And then minus 3 times. Let's do the first one. Minus 6. So it's minus 3 times minus 6. All divided by 2. So that's 4. Now minus 3 times minus 6 is plus 18. So be careful there. And then 18 plus 4 is 22. Divided by 2 is 11. So x equals 11 when y is minus 6. And then one more time, finish it all off. X is equal to 4. Then minus 3 times y is now minus 2. Again, that's going to turn positive. So x is equal to 4 minus 3 times minus 2 is positive 6. Divided by 2, 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 over 2 is 5. So if I then put all of that together, so y equals minus 6 or minus 2, there are my two values there, and x equals 11 or 5. Boom, there's your answers. Make sure you've marked all that.